Hello and good day. Today we are here to share with you a video on the Virgo full moon happening Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. It's going to be at 4:41 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time, and it's the Path of Transcendence, as we've coined it.
The Path of Transcendence. Well, of course, we have the Virgo Pisces axis. But before that, how are you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. We're up to 495 subscribers. We're about to go over the big 50. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And please share this work with your friends and your tribe so they can subscribe as well. Also, if you have any questions about anything that we talk about today, comment. Also, like. All of that stuff, you know how to go. How you doing, Diana?
I'm good. I'm good overall. It's had a bit of a bumpy weekend, I'd say, but I'm feeling better today. We are recording this just to date ourselves right now. I think it's the 27th of February. And so we just came through that Pisces new moon, and that felt like a lot. How are you doing?
The Pisces new moon was a lot, wasn't it? It was really kind of interesting. We did the Saturn in Pisces video, in which we talked about, you know, having a really safe container, and then we did the Jupiter Chiron video, the Jupiter Chiron conjunction that's coming up also in the month of March. Those are really key, and with this full moon, right on the same day, a few hours later, Saturn comes in to Pisces. And right before that, Mercury comes in the Pisces after making a Mercury-Saturn conjunction. So it's very Piscean energy, the depths. And it's not easy, huh?
No, it's that whole video we did on Saturn and Pisces, I've really felt that energy uptick since we did the video. I guess more planets have gone into Pisces, and now Sun's gone into Pisces, and the need for containment and the emotional layers that are coming up to the surface is very real.
It's interesting, huh? It's hard to be objective, you know, as an astrologer. You know, we want to have opinions, and we have to be careful about being too subjective, you know, put too much of ourselves in it. And yet, you know, we do these videos, and then it's like they have, you know, it's interesting because then we see it kind of unfold, then it goes, you know, and so then it's nice to be able to, you know, it's interesting media, you know, you're doing a video, you know, 2 weeks before the full moon or 2 weeks before the event. And so to remain objective is big. And so the Path of Transcendence and the axis of Virgo Pisces, Virgo and Pisces look at transcending the material world. Virgo seeks to transcend the material world by making everything perfect in it, so that everything is in order, so that I can be peaceful, I be in union with everything, and I can transcend it all. Pisces, I just want to get out. You know, Pisces is, what does it all matter anyway? And it's a difficult energy. What does it all matter anyway? You know, it's a very difficult, because it matters, right? We live life, we have kids, we have families, we have jobs, we have a reality we have to contend with. That's very difficult. And Pisces just, you know, would rather be on an island, you know, sipping coconuts and you know, talking to the fishes. And so then the Piscean energy and the quest for transcendence, and with the moon in Virgo, what does a moon in Virgo feel like to you?
Moon in Virgo. I used to have a thing where I lived communally for many years, and Moon in Virgo was the hardest aspect to have a roommate in, I found. And this is something I put together later, where I was, because I've been into astrology for a long time, since high school, and throughout my early 20s I was living communally, and then I kept noticing this certain kind of, I want to say, archetype come up in a home setting that was like wanted everything organized and neat, but the way in which it was gone about was kind of awkward or hard to communicate and cooperate with.
Right.
And then later connected that to the moon in Virgo. So yeah, moon in Virgo, I think there's a great use for it in my personal practice. When moon goes in Virgo every month, I usually try and book that time off from being social and clean my house and organize myself. I find my inspiration to organize my life becomes really high. And so I like to use that energy for my own personal forward movement. But it's an interesting energy.
That's interesting, huh? You want to be able to feel more transcendent in the material world, so you clean up everything in your house, you know. So that's that moon in Virgo versus that sun in Pisces. Interesting full moon. Let's look at what it says to us, this full moon. Okay, boom. And so here I'm going to give you back to control. So the Virgo full moon, the path of transcendence. So the sun and the moon in opposition the sun makes a conjunction to Neptune, and a few days leading after the full moon, the sun will get closer and closer to Neptune. And so the experience of Neptune and Pisces. So Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, co-ruler of Pisces with Jupiter, and Neptune is about, you know, dissolving the boundaries that keep us separated. It's a very transcendent, you know, archetype. Is the need for redemption. So then that sun in Pisces in conjunction with Neptune, it's like double Pisces. Does that make sense to you?
We're also going to have Mercury as the ruling planet
of the moon,
Virgo, the moon in Virgo, and that's going to be in Pisces energy too.
Yes, no, the Mercury Saturn conjunction that happens just a few days before the full moon is also really important. But so if we look at that new moon, sun and moon, full moon, sorry, and Mercury, Saturn, and Pisces, we see also that sun moon makes an angle to Mars and makes a T square. So then Mars in Gemini, it's, you know, really communicative. It's in the 5th house, very creative. And then the moon in Virgo, the wanting to have anything in order in terms of my home and my body and all of those things that refer to the moon, and the sun in Pisces in conjunction with Neptune and the urge for transcendence, and then Mars there, you know. So then I called it being in service to transcendence. You know, Mars and Neptune is about being in service. Mars is the hero, the warrior. And so then I think that because things are going so intense out in the world, our need to really be transcendent in it and to have a strong container is really important, but also to be in service to others who struggle with this integration of transcendence. What is transcendence to you?
Transcendence. Yeah, I've been sitting with this since we've been creating this video, and my understanding of transcendence, which I feel like is just now beginning to unfold, is it's like a meeting of something that's spirit and transformation. And so we have to transform past perceived limitation through spirit. That makes sense.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way of saying it. Yes, transcendence means to go beyond. So to go beyond the material world into the spirit world, you know, so it's transcendence. I'm transcending this world and being connected to the world of spirit. So it's wanting to be connected with spirit first and for all. I really like what the Jung says about transcendence. He says, transcendence is pure objectivity. So what does that mean? Pure objectivity is to be able to look at the material world and not to be attached with it. Just to understand, you know, oh, that's, you know, like the Buddhists, they say, you
Yeah.
know, the world of 10,000 things, you know, it's like, oh, it's just the world of 10,000 things, you know, I can be objective. That's the passage of time. You know, everybody struggles. It's the material world, you know, we can be objective about it, and that there's another reality. And so then that other reality allows us to be objective in the material world, and to not be so emotionally subjective about it all, and not have everything just drive us completely nuts. You know, and so then that Piscean energy, so then that Mars.
There's this like layer of higher understanding that comes with that then in oh yeah.
Oops,
in
Mars was hiding over there. We had to bring it back. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, oh dear, transcendence and the ability to change your perspective, which is like the Pisces Virgo, but then also the Gemini Sagittarius, I guess made me think of Sagittarius energy, in that higher view, or when you have a higher view of the situation, you don't take the little bits of things so personally. Somebody gets mad at you at a supermarket, it's not like, if your core is strong, it's not going to totally throw you off usually.
Well, it's kind of like what astrology gives us, you know, it gives us the ability to look at everything from above, right?
Yeah.
In a transcendent place. And yes, if we can look at things, and that's what also our spiritual practice does, right? Our journaling, our meditations, our creative practice, they allow us to look at what's going on in our day-to-day life with some detachment, some objectivity. That this too shall pass. This is not a big deal. You know, I've been through so much more. You know, it's like, wow, you know, why take it all so seriously, you know? And so then that's really what Pisces is about. And so that Mars, Sun, Moon, Sun, T square, about being in, and Neptune also there, Neptune, Sun. So then that is about being in service to transcendence. You want to look at the next constellation?
That's a great way to utilize that Mars square in a good way.
Absolutely, and get it, instead of getting pissed off about it and starting to scream about it, realize that really your world's a crazy place. So then we have also a Sun, Neptune, Moon, Uranus constellation. So Sun, Moon, Neptune, and Uranus makes Uranus makes a 120, so a trine, and makes a sextile to Uranus. I mean Neptune Sun conjunction. So then the need to bring light and evolution to the whole thing, you know. So then here we have evolution and transcendence, you know. So not only do we want to just not worry about anything and just transcend everything, but we all also want to evolve and bring light to the whole show. And we can't do that unless we're transcendent, right? We can't really do that if we can't solve the problem. What does this say? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
That's exactly what I thought.
And so then to change the way we think about things and bring about an evolutionary, revolutionary perspective to transcendence. So evolution and transcendence.
And then we have the Sun, Neptune with the opposite the Moon, Venus, Jupiter, Chiron. So
that's a quinsunk.
Oh,
quinsunk, 150 degrees.
Quinsunk.
And this Jupiter, Venus, Chiron conjunction, that's a big deal. You know, and we just did a video. So the video on Saturn in Pisces and the video on the Jupiter Chiron conjunctions are up, and at the end of the video I'll put the link to both of those videos. Very important for you to ground yourself into what's going on and to be objective as we get ready to finish the astrological year. But here we have Jupiter, Chiron, Venus also connected to the moon and also connected with Sun Neptune. So then this need for transcendence becomes a need for healing of the sacred feminine. You know, Venus and the moon and Chiron, the wounded healer, and the call to shamanic work and healing work, and Jupiter, the great teacher. So then, you know, it's like
the feminine warrior in Aries.
the feminine warrior in Aries, exactly. It's like not only is the world in chaos, and not only do we have to learn to transcend it, but from our place of transcendence, we have to step up and be the teachers and to be really helping support people through this incredible time of transformation that we're all going through. You know, this is the last full moon of the astrological year. The next new moon is in the next astrological year. So we're coming to the end of the year from the astrological perspective, and it's a time to kind of like wipe the slate clean. And, you know, that's what Pisces is about. It's returning to the beginning. And so that Chiron, Jupiter, Venus with this full moon and with Uranus and with Mars, it's all tightly related. And then that moon on its own side of the chart there is a very powerful Virgo moon. So, you know, spring cleaning, clean up your house, clean up your shit, you know, get yourself organized. I had a dream last night like that, where I was in a boat with a bunch of, you know, wealthy people, and we were in this very, very fancy boat, but the boat was infested with so many cockroaches, it wasn't livable. And so we had to leave the boat because there was too many cockroaches in the boat.
Oh,
wow. So then that made me think, wow, dude, you got to get your shit together. You got to clean up your act. You know, it's like, you know, so that I thought it was, yeah, kind of gross.
Dream, crazy.
Yeah, really powerful dream.
Yeah, Virgo. I mean, it's funny how these similarities show up between Virgo and Moon, but Virgo so commonly is also connected to our habits and what we do on a habitual basis, day to day, week to week, and then our body. So like it's associated often with cleansing and detoxing and yoga practice and gyms and whatever your physical practices are. It's really grounded in our physical, and then the practices we do to care for our physical body.
Virgo also, Virgo is associated with the goddess of the harvest, and so it's very lunar as well. And so moon in Virgo, it's very happy there. It's very, you know, it's in a good place, but it tends to be a little picky about having everything in order.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we got?
Reason.
Well, it's the moon, you know, the moon is a very interesting archetype. For sure. So then what we got? Then we have the Mercury, Saturn, both ingress into Pisces, and Saturn ingressing into Pisces. And then right before the full moon, we have a Mercury-Saturn conjunction.
Mercury moves so fast that it's just gonna zip along here.
Be in Pisces a few weeks, really. And at the time of the next new moon, Mercury will be in conjunction with the sun. And so we'll have the superior conjunction of Mercury, but that's for the next new moon. So I phrase that one as giving form. Saturn is what it does. It wants to give form, you know, it's that safe boat that we need. And again, I really recommend you watch this video on Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces will be in there for 2.5 years. So that's really going to change the atmosphere. And we've been feeling this shift of atmosphere, and it's kind of like the experience of flooding, you know. It's ever since the sun's been in Pisces, you know, it hasn't stopped snowing, you know. It's like interesting, you know. It's like the weather really shifted, everything is shifting. So giving form, and Mercury is expressing transcendence. So Saturn and Mercury, it's about, you know, being disciplined in our writing, in our expression, you know. And so in order to give form to transcendence, and we have to express it in our lives, or our creative practice, or our spiritual practice, or writing practice. They all serve to giving form to expressing transcendence.
And then around the same time, another big energy shift is going to be Pluto. So Pluto again here at the very tail end of Capricorn, and just within a matter of a week or two later, I think.
No, actually, Pluto comes into Aquarius right after the equinox, and so the equinox is on the 20th. The new moon is on the 21st, and Pluto comes into Aquarius on the 23rd.
Oh, wow.
The next video we're going to do is on that Pluto in Aquarius, and that's going to be fascinating. And that basically time they are a changin, that's going to change a lot. Interestingly enough, Pluto will only be in Aquarius for the period of just about 2 or 3 months, and then he will return into Aquarius, and then next year he'll go back into Aquarius, and then come back into Capricorn, and then at the end of 2024 it will go, actually at the beginning of 2025 it will go back into Aquarius for good. So we're going to have a big window of expression there, and we've been collecting all kinds of materials about the meaning of Pluto in Aquarius, and so that's really big, and so we're going to be keeping track of that.
We'll have that for you next time. For this full moon, there's some dates to watch out for leading up to it.
I think that it's important to here, you want to go back to full screen?
Sure.
So we were talking about this, this month of March, everybody's talking about it, right? All the astrologers are talking about it.
Yeah.
And this particular two, leading to the full moon, and then to the next new moon, and to the equinox there. And then a little bit beyond that, that window, so about the next month or so, well, be really attentive to what's going on in your life. Try to slow down the pace. Lots of practice and lots of paying attention, like that dream that I just had, it made a very clear message, so listen to those messages that come from your dreams and from your practice, and prepare yourself, because at the end, by the time the sun moves into Aries, and that Pluto comes into Aquarius, then we're going to, it's going to be interesting too. We're going to see 2 Aries new moon at the beginning of spring, at the beginning and at the end of Aries. We're going to have 2 Aries new moons.
Strong start to the new astrological year.
Well, a strong start or a slow start, we don't really know, right? But we know that this is a very important turning point. We're going to get into the eclipse season very soon as well. So
I think it's going to be strong.
Fools rush in where angels fear to thread. Don't rush into anything, and practice transcendence. And practice sharing your transcendence, teaching, that Jupiter, Chiron conjunction, and all this Piscean energy. Let that teach you and prepare you for what announces itself to be quite a year.
Yeah, I had thing come through. I know that, at least personally, what I've been noticing in my friends, community, family, and in the public is a lot of emotions come up the last 4 or 5 days, and that's for all sorts of reasons. I think a lot of us here locally in the couch were excited to see spring start, and then we had a big influx of snow coming in, and I think that's all across Canada, but we're seeing spring come, so we're excited. But anyways, what I'm getting to is that the emotions that come up, and Pisces season can be a lot, and these emotions are here as our teachers, and so there's this little prayer that I've had for a long time that helps me utilize emotions to positive change versus allowing myself to get too stagnant in emotions. because I think they're here to trigger and help us evolve, not just take over and overwhelm, which is another thing that can happen with the Pisces energy. So it goes, emotions transform energy. Energy creates movement. Movement is change, and change is the essence of my life. Yeah, I just felt like sharing that with.
Repeat that.
Especially
Repeat
a lot
that.
of
That was
things
worth
coming.
repeating.
Yeah. So emotions transform energy. So when we feel an emotion, it's because something is changing, right? We're having a reaction to something, and it creates an energy within us. Energy creates movement. So that change either makes us cry, or it makes us run, or it makes us do something different. We typically have to do something with that energy that's building up as we feel the emotion. Emotions transform energy. Energy creates change. And change is the essence of our life. So the only thing that we get to know in this world is that things are going to change and that we're going to die. Like, those are the two things that you definitely know in life, and everything else you're just hoping for the best, working towards the best.
Well, we're gonna suffer too.
Yeah, we are going to suffer. Yeah.
And we'll have fun too.
It's a, I mean, not to say that I'm there, I definitely suffer, but suffer, if you're transcendent, you're not suffering, right?
Well, I think you still
Or
are
you are, but you're,
suffering, but you have
it's a perception.
a higher understanding. That's why all the scriptures of the world, all the spiritual paths, they tell us about understanding that this material world is a place of suffering, and you should be working for the next world. You know, and that's, you know, that's the reality of it. But that was beautiful, you know, and you know, the story that you just said, you know, I was going to give it a Jungian, you know, kind of, you know, twist to it. You know, Jung would say that this this effect, or these emotions that come up, you know, these emotions, they're actually effect. They don't belong to us, they belong to the archetypal spiritual world. So that when we become overwhelmed by emotions, it's actually, you know, these emotions, they're the voice of our soul. And they are seeking us to transform. They want to communicate. So sitting with our emotions and allowing our emotions to create the energy of change. You know, the emotion is there because something's not right. So sit with that, you know, and let it speak to you, and that will create the change. And yes, we are energy in motion, you know, nothing ever stays stagnant. That was fun. Thank you for that, Diana.
Thank you.
And so then here we are. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
So all right. So here's the dates. So we're on the 27th today, March 2nd, the Mercury Saturn conjunction at 29 degrees of Aquarius.
So that's Thursday.
Yeah, pay attention to that. Then March 2nd and 3rd, Venus, Jupiter, Chiron conjunction. So that March starts strong, huh? You know, so, you know, so that's next weekend, right? So
yeah, this weekend, Friday.
yeah. So Mercury, Saturn conjunction, then Venus, Jupiter, Chiron. Then on March 7th, which is this video here, the Virgo full moon at 16 degrees Pisces. And then March 7th, on the same day, Saturn ingress into Pisces. So that's, you know, a busy week ahead. Just want to be mindful and pay attention to all of that. Yeah. Then on the 9th, Moon is in opposition to Venus, Jupiter, Chiron. So then we're going to revisit that energy. So then really that Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, it's going to be with us, you know, for the next 8-10 days. And again, we have a video on that. And then that Saturn coming into Pisces. So those are the energies that are really important. And then the Jupiter Chiron conjunction comes on the 11th. So then, you know, so looking at a pretty intense 10-12 days.
So and here it's building, but then it meets its full conjunction this day.
Yes, and you know, so throughout this, you know, first few weeks of March, and even in, you know, into the end of February there, that Jupiter Chiron and that Saturn ingress and that Venus and that Mercury Saturn, that sets the tone, you know. And so then we have March 16, Sun, Mercury, Neptune conjunction. So then that giving a voice to the Neptunian solar energy. So that's going to be also a big step. Then March 20 is the equinox. March 21st is the new moon. And March 23rd, Pluto ingress into Capricorn. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a fun month.
Very packed. If you do follow astrology a little deeper and you're looking at your own natal chart, we put the degrees here for you to look at your chart. If these points are activated by planets or points on your natal chart, then you're gonna probably want to make note of that and give yourself extra tender love and care. So that's 14 degrees Aries is a big spot, 29 degrees Aquarius is a big spot. This full moon we've been speaking to this video is at 16 degrees on the Pisces Virgo axis. And then that 25-degree Pisces spot has been activated for a while with Neptune, but it'll be having a big hit mid-March too.
I have Pisces, Venus in Pisces at 26 degrees Pisces of Pisces. So and that March 16 there, that's my mother's birthday too. So and I'm going to visit my mother as well. So it's like, whoa, there's some really interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, hey, it's neat to see how things line up.
And they usually do. Okay, and you're going to talk to us about some tissue salts.
Yeah, dive in the body for a sec here, especially with Virgo full moon. So Virgo in the body. Virgo governs and rules the solar plexus, and then our core of our being, which is the liver and the intestines. So this is where we, like in a good Virgo way, organize and sort everything that we ingest. Whether it's good for us or not, it has to be repackaged before it can go to a spot. Is it dusted and good enough for that altar? If it was in your room.
Beautiful there.
Cell salt that's connected with this is cell salt number 7, which is kali salt or potassium sulfate. This tissue salt helps to detoxify the system in the cells, especially good for detoxifying and cleaning out toxins that are stored within our skin. So it's really good for dry, scaly skin or pimples, dandruff, and chickenpox, anything where you can see irritation within the skin. Also, if you've come in contact with anything like contact dermatitis, it would be really supportive for that as well. And then herbs that rule Virgo are skullcap, fennel, dill, endive, and licorice root. And so these are herbs that are really good nervines, but they're also digestive aids. So if you're feeling that overwhelm build, skullcap, fennel, they all help to calm your nervous system down. Really supportive if you're feeling that too much build. And then Pisces in the body. Pisces, like we talked about in the last video, rules our feet and lymphatic system. So still a really good time to be doing cold plunges and anything that's really activating your lymphatic system or grounding, putting your feet in nature. I know I hit a point in this last weekend where I just felt like I was super discontent with everything. And my dear mom's been sending me a lot of great videos on grounding, and so I just took my shoes off, and it had been snowing, and I walked all the way around my house really calm with deep breathing, and it felt so rejuvenating. I came back ready to take on what I had on my list to do. Really nice way to ground. This one is corresponding with tissue salt number 4, so it's about oxygenating the blood, bringing that energy, that spirit life force all throughout the whole system. If there is a part of our body that does not get oxygen, it will die. And so it needs this core key energy supply of oxygen, and ferrophos is the tissue salt that helps iron get to these cells, and the iron is what helps to oxygenate the cells. Yeah, so super supportive. And then plants that support Pisces within the body are sea plants, so seaweeds, like Irish moss, dulse, sea lettuce, kelp, and sea asparagus. There's also many others out there too, bull kelp. Really good if you're having any circulation issues, immune issues, but also really good for your thyroid. If your thyroid has been stressed or taxed, there's many reasons it could be.
That's a lot, huh? Wow. So how do you feel about this video?
Good. How do you feel?
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we did. We covered a lot of material. I think we were really clear on just noticing from a place of transcendence all that is going on in the world, not taking everything too seriously, and make sure you resource yourself, support your body, support your soul, support your mind and your emotions, your heart, and listen deeply to insight into how to best make the use of these times. And there's a tremendous amount of good service that we can do during a time of crisis, you know. And I think any one of us who's called to this work will know this, that people are really vulnerable right now. And so we're being asked to hold space for a lot of people. But if you don't hold space for yourself and prepare yourself for that, then chances are that you find yourself drowning with them, you know. So having a strong boat and some strong ropes to drag people out of the water, you know, and I think that that's really setting the tone for the rest of this year. This is about us showing up really strong and telling a different story, telling the story that times are changing and we're going to make the best of these times together as communities and friends and families. That's kind of how I see this year coming along.
I love it. There's I do strongly believe that we're all like walking each other home.
Walking each other home. Always wonderful hanging out with you, my friend.
Likewise, my time. Always.
And thank you so much. Without you, this doesn't work. Subscribe, you know the drill, and we'll see you next time. Oh yeah. Oh wow.
If you've got any feedback, feel free to share it. And also, if there's anything you'd like to see in the videos, let us know.
Yeah, we're strongly responsive to feedback, and we are the Healer and the Dreamer Astrology. I'm Martin Comtois, Spirit of the Times 108@gmail.com, and then day-to-day healing. You like the picture?
Yeah, it's a bit of an oldie, but I like it.
It's a transcendent day, looking to the heavens, day by day healing. Reach out to Diana also. We're in service, and thank you for supporting us. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So much love. Take good care of yourself.
Okay.